This video addresses the DC child abuse and neglect laws. The statute is essentially very overbroad and overreaching. And the standard of proof in most of the court proceedings is preponderance of evidence, a very low standard when it comes to a proceeding or court proceeding that actually can cause or result in removal of your children from your home. So it is critical early on to have a very strong line of defense and to defend yourself against any allegations of neglect and abuse. The categories of neglect and abuse, or the actual specific language of the statute, is in our website or the firm site, familylawdc.com, under subsection child abuse and neglect, and you have the exact language of the statute and the many categories that are listed. But to summarize, the first and foremost and the most broad or most common form of neglect petition would be one that has to do with a child has been abandoned or abused. Abuse will encompass both physical abuse and mental abuse. And most physical abuse cases are essentially discipline cases where it's gone beyond being a legal discipline and turns into becoming a neglect and almost assault on a child. The second category is a child who doesn't have proper parental care or control. That will be a situation where either the home is not appropriate or there's not sufficient, the home does not essentially provide a sufficient care for the child in many forms that the child needs, and also includes educational neglect. The child doesn't attend school on a regular basis or doesn't have proper parental care or control at any given time. Especially with the younger children, they need to be attended at all time by the parent. A parent who does not attend a child's left in a car or in a house or even at school left and not picked up, that would constitute a category of neglect and would be petitioned as so. The third category would be a parent who is unable to discharge their responsibility because of the hospitalization or incarceration. In those cases, definitely a neglect petition needs to be filed to determine who can care for the child when a parent is hospitalized or, in fact, incarcerated. A refusal to care is another category. That's in situations where actually older children or parents have fed up, essentially, because the children or the child is so unruly, and they will turn the child into child and family services to care for the child, and that's called a refusal to care. And a neglect petition needs to be filed at that point to determine a plan for care for that child. Imminent danger is another category. Imminent danger would constitute situations where there are multiple siblings. One of the siblings, one child in a home is being physically disciplined or injured because of a discipline, and thus the remainder of the children are removed from the home as well because they're considered to be an imminent danger child. In other words, there's imminent danger that child could be potentially abused by that parent, and thus to prevent that, the statute provides that all the children in the home should be removed at the time until it's determined what had happened, and eventually maybe some of the children will return back in the home. Negligent treatment is another category, and that has to do with a child who has not seen a doctor on a regular basis or has not been vaccinated. So that, as you can see, there are many, many categories of neglect, and so it is important, again, to, when it comes to allegations of neglect, if the allegation has been as initiated by a neighbor, by a friend, a coworker, a school, right away there's a CPS, there is an investigator from a Child and Family Services who will be involved to investigate the authenticity and credibility of that allegation. And so it's important at that point to be very aggressive and to defend your rights and make sure that you're refuting those allegations so that you're not left with having a petition for neglect filed against you, and then you end up in court. And again, once that allegation becomes substantiated and it comes to the court hearing, gets through the probable cause phase of the case, it's going to be very hard to get that case dismissed or closed. Again, for more information about child abuse and neglect, please visit our familylawdc.com, our website, under child abuse and neglect laws.